All right, everyone, loyal Rangers fans across the world, it's time to gather round once again because there's plenty to unpack ahead of another massive night at Ibrox. The team is stepping back onto the European stage, and after that heartbreaking defeat at Hampton, this match carries more weight than ever. There's no time to sit around feeling sorry for ourselves. The Rangers have to regroup, rediscover that fire, and show everyone what it means to wear the badge. Roma are coming to town, and while the Italian side has its own troubles, that doesn't make this challenge any easier. European nights under the lights at Ibrox have a different kind of energy, a raw electricity that can push this team to levels we've seen before. But with the way things have been going lately, the fans are expecting more than passion. They're demanding results. Let's be honest, this season's European campaign hasn't exactly started the way anyone hoped. 3 straight defeats, Genk, Sturm Graz, and FK Brand, have left the team rooted at the bottom of the group. It's been a hard watch for supporters who have seen Rangers go toe-to-toe with Europe's elite in the past. The question now is whether Danny Roll's men can turn things around before it's too late. Another loss, and the path to the next round becomes almost impossible. It's not just about points anymore. It's about pride, confidence, and restoring that belief that Ibrox is still a fortress. Roma arrive in Glasgow in a similar mood. They've stumbled in Europe too, dropping points at home to Lille and Victoria Plzen. But don't let that fool you. In Serie A, they're sitting just a single point behind Napoli, and that shows you the kind of quality they've got. Italian sides have a habit of treating the Europa League like a sideshow compared to their domestic campaigns, and maybe, just maybe, that's something Rangers can take advantage of. The timing might just work in our favor, especially with Roma missing 3 of their biggest names. Paulo Dybala, Evan Ferguson, and Angelino are all out injured. That's a huge blow for them, and you can bet Ibrox will be ready to pounce on that vulnerability. Now, looking back at the old firm clash, you could see both the fight and the flaws in this Rangers team. Playing a man down for that long against Celtic and still pushing them to the limit takes guts. But once again, it was that lack of composure in front of goal that made the difference. You could feel the frustration building with every missed chance. The team worked their socks off, yet there's still this sense that something is missing. That final touch, that killer instinct, the spark to turn effort into results. And that's exactly what needs to change on Thursday night. Against Roma, every chance will count. Every mistake will be punished. The margins are razor thin. So, what kind of lineup are we expecting Danny Roll to go with this time? Jack Butland will almost certainly be between the sticks again. He'll be desperate to make amends after that long-range strike from Callum McGregor sneaked past him at Hampton. But to be fair, he pulled off some top-class saves that kept the team alive when things looked bleak. That's the life of a goalkeeper. One moment of brilliance, one moment of regret. He'll want to make sure Thursday is remembered for the right reasons. Then there's James Tavernier, the captain who never seems to stop running. Against Celtic, he was everywhere, defending, pushing forward, even stepping into midfield when the team needed it. He's the heartbeat of this side, but fatigue might be a concern. At 34, covering every inch of the pitch week in and week out is no small feat still. Knowing Tav, he'll be ready to lead from the front again, no questions asked. In defense, Nasser Giga's performance at Hampton raised a few eyebrows. The Wolves' loanee had a rough time, struggling with Celtic's pace and pressing. It wasn't pretty, but with the lack of options at the back, it's hard to see who could realistically replace him. Roll may just stick with him and hope for a more composed display under the Ibrox floodlights. Alongside him, John Souter has adapted well to his role in a back 3. He's not flashy, but he's steady, and that experience could prove vital in a match where Rangers will likely spend plenty of time without the ball. Then you've got Derek Cornelius, arguably the standout defender this season. His mix of athleticism, aggression, and composure has been one of the few consistent positives. He's a player who looks more comfortable by the week, and his influence at the back could be the difference between survival and disaster. Jayden Meghoma is another who's starting to come into his own. The 19-year-old has shown maturity beyond his years, especially since being given more freedom to push forward under Roll's system. He's quick, brave, and full of energy, the kind of player who feeds off the atmosphere at Ibrox. If he can find the right balance between attacking and defending, Rangers might have a real weapon down that flank. Moving into midfield, Nico Raskin will be desperate to make up for that missed opportunity against Celtic. You could see the frustration on his face, but he remains a key piece in this puzzle. His energy, vision, and willingness to drive forward make him indispensable. Alongside him, Mohamed Diomande returns, bringing some much-needed bite back into the middle of the park. The Ivorian has had his ups and downs, but this is a chance for redemption, his first European game since that nightmare against Genk. Expect him to play with a point to prove. Mikey Moore could be another to get the nod after impressing off the bench in the derby. The youngster brought a spark that was missing for much of the match, and with Thelo Osgaard suspended, the door is wide open. Moore's confidence on the ball and willingness to take risks might be exactly what Rangers need to unsettle Roma's defense. Up front, Danilo has quietly been one of the brighter spots, scoring 2 in his last 3 despite living off scraps in attack. His work rate is incredible, and if he gets even half a chance on Thursday, you'd back him to take it. He'll be itching to make his mark in Europe. And then there's Jaidi Gassama, the wild card. He didn't start at Hampton, but when he came on, everything changed. His pace, directness, and flair immediately gave Rangers another dimension. It was his shot that led to the penalty, and that moment showed just how dangerous he can be. Against a Roma defense that might not fancy being pressed by someone that quick, Gassama could be the ace-up roll's sleeve. Away from the pitch, though, things at Ibrox are as busy as ever behind the scenes. The club is once again searching for a new director of football operations, adding to the wave of changes that's swept through in recent months. 2 new managers, several backroom adjustments, and now another major hire in the works. Kevin Thelwell, the current sporting director, has been under a lot of pressure after a few questionable decisions, including bringing his own son, Robbie Thelwell, into the fold, a move that didn't sit well with many supporters. But despite the noise, Kevin isn't going anywhere for now. The new role being advertised will actually report to him, working closely with both the first team and the academy. It's a sign that the club's restructuring process is still ongoing, and while that can bring long-term stability, it also means more short-term uncertainty. John Hunter Barrett from Wolves is expected to take over as academy director soon, another connection from Thelwell's time in English football. It's clear he's reshaping the club's foundations with people he knows and trusts. That can work, but it can also backfire if results on the pitch don't follow. The fans aren't interested in corporate titles or job descriptions. They want performances, passion, and progress. And right now, that all starts with what happens on Thursday night at Ibrox. Because when the whistle blows and that crowd roars, none of the off-field drama matters. What matters is how these players respond. Will they fight for the shirt? Will they rise to the occasion the way Rangers have done so many times before in Europe? Roma are wounded, and this is the perfect moment to strike. The stage is set, the stakes are high, and the fans will bring the noise as only they can. What happens next could define the rest of the season. There's a certain kind of pressure that comes with nights like this at Ibrox, the kind that either breaks a team or turns them into something special. Everyone inside that stadium knows what's at stake, and the energy will be electric from the first whistle. You can almost feel it already, that buzz in the air when the lights hit the pitch and the crowd starts singing in unison. This isn't just another Europa League game. It's a test of character, a moment for Rangers to remind Europe who they are. The recent run of form has been tough to swallow, but this club has built its legacy on bouncing back from setbacks. Every true supporter knows that the badge on the chest carries a weight that demands a reaction. Danny Roll has made it clear that he wants intensity, discipline, and aggression from his players. He's asking for bravery on the ball, something that's been missing in the last few games. The system he's trying to implement needs time, but European nights don't wait for anyone. What fans are looking for now is a sign, something tangible that shows the team is moving in the right direction. There's no hiding in games like this. Every misplaced pass, every lapse in concentration gets magnified under the Ibrox lights. But there's also opportunity. A big performance against Roma could be the spark that reignites the entire season. The players know it too. They've been through the storm in recent weeks, facing criticism, questions, and frustration from all sides. But this is where leadership comes into play. Tavernier, as always, will need to set the tone. His voice, his movement, his example, that's what drives this team. You could see after the Old Firm loss how much it hurt him. He doesn't need to say it. You can read it in his body language. That's the kind of hurt that can either drag a squad down or fuel them to fight harder. You'd like to think it's the latter. Midfield is where this battle will be won or lost. Roma might be missing some key names, but they'll still be tactically sharp, disciplined, and ruthless if Rangers lose shape. That's why players like Raskin and Diomand are going to be crucial. They'll need to press with intelligence, cover every blade of grass, and move the ball quickly when they win it back. You can expect Roma to try and slow the game down, control the tempo, frustrate the crowd. But that's where Rangers have to be smart. Patience and precision will be just as important as passion and pace. The supporters will play their part as always. When Ibrox is at full voice, it's one of the most intimidating places in football. Roma's players will feel that from the moment they walk out of the tunnel. The challenge for Rangers is to channel that energy properly, to stay composed when the adrenaline kicks in, to make the noise work for them rather than against them. There's a fine line between intensity and recklessness, and the last thing this team needs is another red card or moment of madness. Roll has likely drilled that into them all week. Stay focused, stay united, stay disciplined. There's also something to be said about momentum. One good performance can change everything. Confidence spreads quickly in football. A big European win could lift the mood around the entire club, from the dressing room to the stands. Players start taking risks again, moves become more fluid, and suddenly the pressure that's been weighing everyone down starts to fade. That's the kind of shift Rangers need. They've shown flashes of brilliance this season, spells where the football was quick, decisive, and full of intent. But those moments have been too few and far between. Finding consistency has been the real challenge. Up front, the key will be converting chances when they come. Against Celtic, Rangers created just enough to make something happen, but lacked the sharpness to finish it off. That can't happen against Roma. Danilo will be the focal point again, and he'll need the service to match his work rate. If Moore and Gassama can stretch the Italians out wide, it might just open the space for him to operate. The combination play between those three could be crucial. Danilo's movement, Moore's creativity, and Gassama's unpredictability. If they click, it could cause chaos in Roma's backline. Defensively, it's about keeping concentration. Roma, even without Dybala and Ferguson, still have players who can punish mistakes. The defense can't afford any lapses. Souter and Cornelius will need to communicate constantly, especially when Giga steps up or drifts out of position. These are the kind of matches where one moment of hesitation can undo 90 minutes of hard work. Set pieces could also be key, both ends of the pitch. Tavernier's delivery remains one of Rangers' biggest weapons, and with Cornelius and Souter attacking the ball, there's every reason to believe a goal could come from a dead ball situation. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. There's been a bit of a stir in the blue half of Glasgow, and it's got folk talking. Rangers captain James Tavernier has sent ripples through the dressing room after a rather pointed remark that set tongues wagging among fans and pundits alike. "We're lacking intensity," he said, straight-faced and clearly frustrated. And while the words themselves might sound harmless, the tone told a different story, one that hints at growing tension inside Ibrox. It's not often Tavernier speaks with that edge. Usually calm and measured, the skipper's public challenge feels like more than just a passing comment. Some say it's the mark of a captain demanding standards. Others suspect it's a signal that not everyone in the squad is pulling in the same direction. The timing has only added fuel to the chatter, coming after a stretch of performances that have felt, well, a bit flat. The supporters, as ever, have had their say. Some back Tav's honesty, claiming it's about time someone called things out. Others reckon such words belong behind closed doors, fearing they might stir unrest when unity's needed most. In pubs from Paisley to Perth, the conversation's the same. Has the captain's patience finally snapped? Inside the club, it said the message didn't go unnoticed. A few senior players reportedly took it as a challenge, while others, perhaps, bristled. The manager, for his part, is keeping his cards close to his chest. No public rebuke, no denial, just a quiet insistence that focus remains on the pitch. Still, those who've been around Scottish football long enough know that moments like this can either spark a revival or signal deeper cracks. For now, all eyes are on how the squad responds. Words can ignite a fire or burn bridges. Tavernier's statement might just be the jolt the team needs. or it could open up a new chapter of whispers around the corridors of Ibrox. Either way, the temperature's definitely risen, and everyone's watching to see who can handle the heat. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.